Okay, this is a quick tutorial to show you how to use the new Canvas for Elementary option in Canvas. This has been enabled for Foster buildings, so everybody between Franklin, Lakeview, and Foster should all see this reflecting on their new homepage. So just a few things to go over. Now this is doing is this is providing a space that is very similar to what teachers were requesting last year with like kind of a homepage that has all the different subject areas. It's creating kind of a physical kind of experience basically to replicate what they're doing in the classroom. So it has all the different buttons as you see down here. Now the first thing it says is it wants you to know about creating a homeroom course. So what you're going to do is you're going to go over here. Now they call it subjects instead of courses. So when you tap there, if you take a look at all your subjects, you should see one that is going to say AM and then whatever that class is, and you need to make sure you're connecting the one that says Foster Elementary. Because of our merge this year with Franklin, Lakeview, and Foster, we had to change it up a little bit in Power School, and what that did was for the Franklin and Lakeview teachers, it created two courses that were AM. So you're going to choose the one that says Foster, and when you click in there, you want to come to Manage Subject. And when you go to Manage Subject, you're going to start by just being at the settings. So that's all the way at the bottom. Mine's already selected. And you want to find the option to enable it as your homeroom course. So we're going to find that button, and here it is. And we're going to say Update Course Details. Okay, so now it's allows us to, we can even change the name if we want to. We can change the colors. The name is going to change basically for everybody for any course that you change the name. So every student will see the same color that you choose. Every student will see the same name that you choose, maybe a kid-friendly name and not a Power School generated name. Other than that, these are all the same type of settings, so you can update those course details. I'm going to navigate back to what we're going to call the homeroom now. It used to be called the dashboard, so it's the homeroom. And you should see at the top, this new course is going to come up here. This is where you can add announcements, and so it would be the first thing that students see when they come into their course. Okay. So they have the different option here. You can add your announcement, and it's going to bring up that rich content editor. So it lets you post it. It also has a lot of the same delay posting options if you want to do that. Now this is going to stay on your home page or your homeroom page for 2 weeks or until you change it. So just so you know, that's how that works. The next thing I want to take a look at here, I'm not going to put one in there yet, is your homeroom tab. So that's where I'm at right now. Okay, so you can kind of see what it's going to look like. We have all of our subjects down below. So these are all Power School generated courses below. If I tap on it, now I know Franklin and Lakeview do not see all the different subjects, so we'll go about showing you how to add those in just a second. So we've got 5th grade ELA, and when I come in here, my subject, it can be manually changed the same way. So if I changed mine to 5th grade ELA and it was a Power School generated course, so remember I went to subject to do that, and I came down to my settings and I located course details, and right here is where I could change that information. It's going to stay the same for every single student, and the students cannot change that name. Now again, the image and course color is going to be the same for every single student, so that's really nice for those non-readers to say everybody go to the blue course. So that makes it a little easier there. The next thing that you're going to look at on the homeroom page is the next tab over that says schedule. This is to replicate kind of what you would put on the whiteboard or your schedule on the board every day. So for instance, it's going to show what you're doing in math, what you're doing in all the different subject areas, and notice the course colors are also there. Missing assignments would be at the very bottom, and you'd see a little exclamation point warning icon. The students would have to click on that to expand it, and then they would see all the different assignments starting by the oldest due date. Okay, if there's more than 10 assignments, they'd have to click on the Show More button. And each assignment's going to include the title. It's going to include an icon to show what type of assignment it is, and it's going to have a due date as well as the point value. The next tab at the top is the grade tab. Now, because I'm in here as a student, or excuse me, as a teacher instead of a student right now, all I'm going to have is a link to the grade book. So you could click there for you to go to the grade book. Now, what the student is going to see is going to be a sliding bar of the grade value out of the total possible points. So it'll show them, and then they'll be able to click on that to get more information. Homeroom resources, if you click here, so there's a couple different tabs here. Now, important info, I'm going to come back to that one in just a second. We'll figure out how to add that in a minute. But there's going to be these 3 sections. So we've got student applications, and those are going to be your external tools, your LTI tools, so like Edpuzzle. I have Badges as one, Google Drive as another, iExcel. So those are going to be some of those. The next one is going to be the student or the staff contacts. So any teachers that are added to your account, they're going to be able to email. Now, obviously, I can't email myself, so my icon isn't there, but the students would see email icons, and that'll be sent as a message through Canvas inbox. All right, coming back to the important info. If I wanted to add some important info here, I need to go to my course, so my homepage course. So this is my AM homepage. Now we click on this important info button here, and then I can edit that. So that you can put anything in here. You can put in a video, an image, links, anything that you want in here, and that is going to show up for the student. So again, this is kind of like when you set up your homepage as we had before with all of the buttons. This is where you're going to put maybe that course description, or maybe you want to put how to navigate this in Canvas, a video. So there's lots of different ideas of what you could put in here that would pertain to your course. On the sidebar, so I'm going to head back to the home page, you're going to see these important dates. So this is going to show things that are identified by the teacher for individual subjects, and we're going to come back to that once I click on some of these subjects and show you how to add in important dates. So you're going to be able to do that for anything that you would like to be indicated. And that could be something in an assignment, a discussion, a quiz, all those types of things. You can also add calendar items, and that's going to be over here, the calendar. You can also add calendar items as an important date. So when I'm in my calendar, if I want to create an event, down here at the bottom it says mark as an important date. That'll make it show up on that right-hand sidebar that we saw just a second ago to show the students that there's something important coming up. Same thing if I add an assignment, I would have to go into create an actual assignment. So I'm going to say more options. At the bottom of any assignment that you create, you're going to see the option, very, very bottom, to mark as an important date and show on homeroom sidebar. So if it's something that you want the students to see constantly on the sidebar, that would be the button that you would select there. Now there's another tab on only the teacher's homeroom page, and it's going to be the to-do list. The students do not see this to-do list because essentially this would be their to-do list, or anything underneath the course cards that you see here, the subjects. So there would be information under these subject areas such as this assignment is due today, kind of like an agenda of what they're doing in each subject. So that's really nice. But teachers have this to-do list, and what it is it's going to tell you the things that you need to grade, and you'll be able to check them off as you go. So for instance, this one says I have a couple submissions here. That tells you the number of submissions. I have 2 that I haven't graded. It tells me how many points it's worth, when it was due, and I can click on it to go right to that to grade, or if I'm done and don't want that notification any longer, I can just close that out right there. All right, back to the home page. There is individual subjects as we talked about here, so I'm going to head into this one. So the front page, like we used to call it, this page right here that has my buttons, that is now called the subject home page, because each subject, you still can create your own home page for each subject, but that is what that looks like there. So to create that, you're going to need to go into your Manage Subject, and then you would choose, you can edit that by going to the actual home page. We're going to choose the pages and view all pages. And now here's where I can select which one I would like it to be. So I could choose maybe this one, and I would say use as subject home page. So again, I went to the pages, I chose which one, and I said use as subject home. And so that would allow me to change my home page. Now there's different tabs, so I'm going to head on down to the settings. So when I'm in here, there's all these different tabs that you can show at the top. So if I choose navigation, right now it's going to show home, it's going to show their schedule, grades, modules. Now if there's anything here that I don't want them to see, I can easily just drag it down and put it where I would like, or I can move things around in the order that I want them to appear. You can always bring some of these up as well. So coming back to the subject, you click up here. It's going to show a lot of the same tabs that they get to see on their homeroom page. So again, we have our schedule, and this is what they would see. This is just a default kind of, because my course is closed out right now, this is kind of an example of what they would see. They would also have an option to have their grade book right there. So the grades tab is going to show more information than the actual homeroom page would. So they'd see more itemized things with their grade book. Modules, so if you do have modules like I did in my course, you're going to be able to see all the different modules as long as you didn't hide it in that course navigation that we just went over. And then finally we have the resources tab, which is very similar to the one on the home page. And if you don't have any important info, which I don't right now, you won't see the important info option. But if you want to add important info for just that subject area, you can. Same way, go up to Manage Subject, and you're going to find that Important Info tab here, and you can add it just like that, and it would come to the resources. Okay, so we have to go over yet the different sections. Now you can name your section. So if I want to manage my subject, I can say I want to go to sections up here. Again, I'm in my settings, in my course settings, my subject settings. I can actually click on the course section here, and it tells me who's in my course, but I can say edit, and now I can change the name to a PowerSchool created name. So I can change it to maybe just Language Arts or ELA, something like that. And then I'd click Update Section, and it would update that information there. The next thing we're going to look at is the Apps tab. Now these are all the same up here. We've got Apps right here. And this is going to be all the different apps, third-party apps that you like to do. Now, I like the Flipgrid one's really good. The Edpuzzle, Redirect is kind of a common one. That's going to be where you're going to put in a URL, and it'll allow the child to come in and tap on that. So that's one way to have something that you use constantly with the students, to have them go to on the sidebar. Okay, now some people like to create their own subjects. So there's a couple ways that you can do that. Now, why they say create your own subject, that might be something that you have a group that you work with, or maybe you want to split up a couple different subject areas, or maybe you want one to be ELA grammar and one to be writing. So I'm going to just tap here. It says, which account will this subject be associated with? So you're going to say Foster, okay? And then it says sync enrollments from homeroom. This is going to automatically add all of the students from your homeroom course as long as you have selected one. And it would automatically add all of those students. So now here I only have one selected as a homeroom. If you were a teacher that taught multiple grade levels, you could actually create multiple homerooms. So you would select which one you want it to be associated with, and then you would give it a name. Now, these courses will not be reflected in PowerSchool, so if you have any syncing that you're going to be doing, it's not going to be reflected. It says sync enrollments from homeroom, and you can do a lot of the same things in here that you could in the other subject areas as well. So this is a personal created course. You can still add any important info to the course. You can add in your own homepage just as you would with any other course.